Howdy everybody, and welcome to my workbench. This is HankAmericanEngine, and I'm finally reviewing a TrackMaster 2 locomotive that I've been looking for a while. Now, UC Weapon and Henry NWR3 and a lot of others already have him. Kudos to them. They have money that I don't, so they can order it, or yeah, they can pretty much order it from eBay for whatever low price they can find. Meanwhile, I am stingy and I want to go and buy it at a store. But I finally have this one!
Samson here at your service.
I'm not the only one who heard those voices, right? That's a nice little promotional pick. And for once, I can actually keep the box.
Look, as we can see here, out of the 3 TrackMaster 2 engines, Samson is the only one whose name indicates he is in a DVD that was released by Thomas and Friends. The other 2, unfortunately, are not. Flynn has returned, as has Scruff. But Samson is the only one with the words Dinos and Discoveries, not only near his name on the back of his box, but all over his box. And even his name on the box has ancient, geographically amazing onto it. Yet Flynn does not, and he was mentioned in that DVD. Then Scruff does not, yet he was seen in the video on that DVD. Samson sent for scrap. So why is Samson the only one to have his name? The world may never know. As stated with the back of the box, here you can see Samson's name almost etched in an ancient stone, as old as dinosaurs are themselves. And again, there it is, etched in a stone that an archaeological man or woman would love to discover. But how would it become an English-spelled name? And again, the Dinos and Discoveries label for the DVD that was bundled with the adventure begins. Why is Samson the only one out of these 3 to receive this special treatment? But Scruff also returned in Dinos and Discoveries. Perhaps we may never know.
Time for an unboxing shot! Isn't it nice that Fisher-Price is always coupling up the trucks of their cars to the engines that they come with? Because I know you guys can't see it, I gave Fisher-Price a round of applause by clapping my 2 hands around in a circle. Does that count? So taking a look at the first, I guess, yellow flatbed that comes with Samson, we see that it comes with a dinosaur and it's held in place by 2 rubber bands. Now I'm sure as you've seen on UC Weapons and Henry NWR3's video, no rubber bands holding down the dinos means they're just going to go flying off all over the place. Another first is also black wheels, although Gator's cars came with black wheels, so it's kind of unusual. But these flatbeds are first in the TrackMaster 2 Revolution range. Here's the other dinosaur flatbed. The color makes it red. Not too much of a fan of the color, but you know, Fisher-Price will be Fisher-Price. They'll give us the most unrealistically colored freight cars that can run on Sodor. What can we do?
Am I the strongest engine on Sodor?
No, you're not. I'm jumping in on Samson, and I'm gonna start at the front of the locomotive. Immediately, diagnosis problem number 1, bufferitis. Great detail, but it's not painted in. Bufferitis, wheels flat on iron rails, or steel rails, whatever you want. Number 2, his running board is not painted white. In the show, it is. Here, it's not, and there's not much anyone can really do about that. Now, there's one part they did paint on, and that's his lantern. And I give them props for that. If they didn't paint it, it would just look like a little red chunk of plastic that wasn't cut off properly. So kudos to you, Fisher-Price. You did a great job making sure to paint this. Now, if it's not too hard, why didn't you paint that? Okay, no. His face is extremely accurate. You've got his very, very bushy eyebrows and that kind of smug, but I know what I'm doing kind of smile. It's a friendly smile, but it's smug and arrogant at the same time. I don't know how it works, but it works. We're only going to take a look at one side of Samson because the other side will be the exact same. I wish Fisher-Price would have gone a little bit smarter since they put the wheel arches in the right spot. They could have moved this wheel right here to make it much more accurate, and they could have done something very special to move the motor back here. But, you know, this is the redesign. One motor fits all. I guess the one size fits all now applies to these TrackMaster trains now, doesn't it? Anyways, here's another diagnosis. They reversed his lining. If you saw in the promotional picture, he has one red line back here and two up here. They reversed it. It's Fisher-Price. What can we do? You know, it's a mistake. If they correct it on future releases of Samson, maybe I'll pick one up. I don't know. All of the details that you see here, the lining, the handrails, his nameplate and his name, they're all printed directly onto the locomotive. If you've seen UC Weapons Custom 7, he's given him handrails that stick out and he's cut away all this plastic where the crew are supposed to be. You can do that if you want. I wouldn't recommend it. He's been making customs for many years. But I'm not going to lie and say that it doesn't look great. It's nice that it's not a sticker, so it's not easily just going to be torn off and you can customize it. Also, Fisher-Price really did a good job with painting his safety dome or valve or boiler or whatever you would like to call it. It's bronze color, and his whistle, the nice gold color, it looks really, really nice. If one part of the locomotive suffers bufferitis, the rest of it suffers bufferitis. Problem solved. He has the wooden texture back here, which is a really nice touch. Kind of gives him that throw into the show. And he also has the little lantern that he had in the show, so it's kind of a double whammy. It's a win-win. But you can see the unpainted running board, and the bufferitis just kind of takes it away. So that would be Stubborn Samson. So, Dinos and Discoveries Samson. How am I going to wrap this up? Well, I'll tell you. You get 2 new pieces of TrackMaster Revolution rolling stock. But the main piece of this set, the locomotive, is great. Okay, he suffers bufferitis, he's oversized. His wheels aren't exactly put on properly, but come on. If you got a kid who loved Samson and you showed him that face, and he says, "Look, it's Samson," then you know what, Fisher-Price has done something right. He looks really well detailed. They could market it and make it better by painting that white running plate and painting the buffers and the couplings. That would make him stand out amongst the other 3 that they've released. Overall, he's a great looking locomotive, so, well, I told you I'd tell you. So how does this wrap up in my eyes as a consumer and a collector? 1, I paid $15 for this little 5-piece set. Because if you took off the rubber bands, the 2 dinosaurs could be removed, as you can see here with this dinosaur's foot not being on the peg. And Fisher-Price would say, look, that's about $3 a piece. Okay, if you gave me 3 small sections of straight track that could hold Samson and his 2 freight cars, I'd be more than happy to pay $15 for this. But $15 to me is just a little too pricey. But in my eyes, I've got new rolling stock that I'm going to modify. I'll probably sell off the dinosaurs, and Samson will take some modding. But if you really want an interesting looking locomotive, buy Samson. I know, you've heard me rant and rave. Oh, Fisher-Price did this, I'm so angry. Oh, Fisher-Price did that, I'm so mad. They still make good products, okay? Now my one question to them, and you saw this in his packaging, and the original Thomas, this is a new style packaging. There's no need for this.
They mixing the wheels, so why are they there? Why?
Of course, if you don't mind any of those problems, go ahead and buy Samson. It's a great locomotive to add to your collection. Because I know you guys just love hearing me make a fool out of myself, please enjoy this extremely special blooper clip that was not going to be included with this review.
Why does Fisher-Price have to use so much plastic?